Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Ben from TradingStrategyGuys.com. As promised, this is what we were going to do. We were going to do a little, we called it a master class for our simple SAR indicator. So this is just going to be a nice little bonus training for you. Today, what I'm going to get into is I'm just going to do a little refresher on the strategy. Basically, this indicator has strategy backing it up. We're going to get into some of the settings. We're going to talk about the tweaks that you'll be able to manage to do with this indicator. And also, I pulled up quite a few questions that we had, so we're going to answer some of the most common questions that we have been getting, that our support team's been getting. So I'm gonna try to do my best to answer some of those. We're going to try to make this video pretty short. That way, you're not going to be sitting here for a couple hours listening to me talk. All right, so let's get started. So this is just a little refresher from the webinar. So you're probably thinking to yourself, this indicator is awesome, looks great. You see some green, you see some red. So, but how do you use it to make consistent profits? So that is true. We had difficult finding trades with the strategy. So that's exactly why we came up with this indicator. Like we said, we had a hard time finding entries. You see something like this, you're just like, okay, that looks pretty good, but where am I going to trade? I did it across here. Do I enter here? Is this an entry? So we saw stuff like this, and we're just like, okay, we put our heads together, and we're just like, we gotta make an indicator for the strategy because it works. The strategy's awesome. It's super difficult to find trades. So that's exactly why I made this indicator. It's, give you a little inside look as why we do what we do, and that was the main reason why we developed this one. It's just because it was just too complicated to. The strategy was nice. Strategy is one of our best ones, honestly, but trying to figure that out consistently on all these time frames, everything else was just a pain. So that's one of the main reasons why we got this indicator. Like I said, we struggle. The charts were messy, trying to determine when the right time to trade was. All that good stuff. With all the confusion, we didn't know if we could even trade with this strategy. It's like the strategy's so good, but like there's so much confusion. How are we gonna solve some of these problems? And so our solution was obviously to make the indicator. So we want to make something super simple. So we just called it the simple SAR because it uses a parabolic SAR and moving averages. So we just figured that was a nice little combo. That's why we called it that. And now all you get to see is this. We have been testing different settings, and we do apologize if you see an indicator just like, well, mine doesn't look like this. We're still tweaking it. We continue to tweak our indicators. Just the version you get now. Maybe 3, 6, 9 months down the road, it'll probably be something different. It'll look different. It's gonna feel a little bit different. It's gonna act different. We like to keep tweaking them. We like to keep updating. I mean, just look at Apple. Why do they keep updating their iOS? It's because they make tweaks to it. They make it better, and that's exactly what we're gonna do with our indicators. We keep tweaking them. We keep making them a little bit better as the time goes on. So right now it looks like this, based on if you change some of the settings, which I will get into. But really all you're going to see is an arrow, and you're going to see a shaded red and a shaded green. And this will be the trade entry, and the target is down here because that's where the setting is. And you see this one, this was a loser. That was also a loser. That's 2 losers in a row, and we continued to get up good, get up big early, but then it kept stopping us out. This one you would have entered here, and you would not have been stopped out, and then it came back up, and it made another entry right here, and there's your target. So that would have been 2 trades. Actually, you could have made 3 here, depending on your stop loss with that. I was actually that one got stopped out real quick. So you're going to see stuff like this, and you're going to see, well, this indicator doesn't work. I got 1, I see 1, I see 2, I see 3 losses and 2 winners. This indicator just doesn't work. Well, you're going to see that. No indicators is obviously going to be 100%. We never claim to be 100%. What we do claim is that we try to get you great entries. And look at this entry. That was a good one. That was, pretty brutal there. It's shot straight back up. But look at this one, boom, it went all the way down quick. So these entries should be very, very accurate. They should be very, very good. They should be getting up quick. So that's why we have so many tweaks to it, and that's what I'm going to show you, hopefully today, and answer some of your questions. So like we said, it's come back to the webinar, it makes it 1,000% easier. At least to us, it makes it that much easier to trade with the strategy. So to back it up, so we showed you these before, but I can show you again. And so you see something like this, where to trade, where do you go? And let's just jump real quick because I don't want this to take too long. So basically, here's a manual. Here's what it'll look like with just the indicators with parabolic SAR and moving averages, and this is what ours will look like. So you see how much better it is. It's a lot more simple. It's easier to navigate. You will be able to see, okay, I'll make the trade here, and not say, well, the cross, but now what? The dots, everything else. And so that made it just 100%, 1,000% easier. And like I said, clear entries, easy, red arrow, and we'll get into this a little bit later. This is just a brief, I was trying to go real quick through this so that we can get in some live charts. So again, where to enter, and here's the solution. Here's our boom. There's our indicator. Enter entry 1, entry 2, take profit 1 and 2, depending on your roles of your trading plan. And here's what it would look like. It's the exact same chart, only this has a simple SAR as a manual. So I mean, you can see the big difference. And not only do we have this, is whenever you get, and I actually just got an alert right now, and I can even show you. Here's an alert. So it's going to say what pair, and it's euro dollar. It's going to be hour, and it's going to be sell. It's going to say, so you're going to be able to set this up on your mobile phone, and if you have MT4, MetaTrader 4. And you're gonna see this come up on your screen. You're gonna say, well, okay, so the euro dollar. So you're gonna take a look at that, and I mean, we recommend not just seeing that and taking every single one you see, because that's just not how you're supposed to trade. I mean, that's just if you trade that way, that's you're in some. It's a little bit risky. I would not recommend every single signal you get, you trade. And we always say that, and everybody, some traders are just like, well, that's just so your indicator doesn't work. It's not what it means. It means that it gave you an entry, and you gotta look at the chart, and you gotta maybe do some price action techniques and other things that you've learned based on some of our other strategies, some of our other content, or what you've learned from others, and apply that to your system, and that's when you can make a great trade. So our indicators are there to help you. They're not meant to just automatically trade for you. Not these indicators. Anyhow, so that's just something an alert will look like. We'll get in that just in a few minutes here. So. And I believe, let's see, so yeah, it's exactly what we'll trade. And here's some of the settings you can adjust, and I'll dive into those here. But you can tweak these, test them so much easier. It's desired tweaking to make it indicators. Basically, it makes it your own unique trading tool. So let's go into some of those settings. This is great. This is nice little. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but let's go into some live chart. Let's go into some of those live candles and some currency pairs here. So, well, let's back up just for a quick second. Here's our members area. Make sure you read our guides. We don't put these there just for fun. This is the strategy. We don't hide anything. This is the strategy that the indicator trades. And this is the booklet, this adjustment booklet, that will show you exactly how we managed to. What we did is basically we kept tweaking. We went on a smaller time frame. We tweaked and we found we tested on about over 5 pairs. Actually, it was maybe even 10. It took a lot of work, took a lot of time, and we kept tweaking. And basically, what we came up with in this guide is what we recommend as the best settings. So actually, let's go ahead and look at some of these settings while we're talking about it now. So here's that guide booklet. Here's the booklet you got either in the webinar or in your members area right there. This just talks about the indicator, what everything does, what everything looks like. Our main idea, you see, our main idea is to show trend reversals. That's the main idea of this indicator. And we're basically using the moving averages and the parabolic SAR. This isn't a unique, this isn't the only indicator out there that, but what ours is, we combine them, we have a strategy behind it, and we tweak them and we make them as good as they can be. So I mean, that's the main idea. If that's not what you want, then we're sorry about that, but that's how every indicator out there works. Any indicator you see, all the custom, they can make it sound as good as they want, but when it comes down to it, they're basing it off of RSI, they're basing it off of stochastic or any other type of indicator out there, and so that's we're just showing you behind. So we show everybody behind the scenes what's going on. We don't just say, hey, we just came up with this new system, but we want to make sure you know the strategy before you get it, because if you don't like the strategy, if you don't think the strategy is successful, then that's whenever you just go ahead and say, well, it's not for me. So you can read that. This just talks about the lines, parabolic, SAR dots, the moving averages. These are simple moving averages to start. So let's go into tuning the indicator. So there's three groups. We categorize these in the groups. The red group is the moving averages, so that's the fast. But as you can see here, they're simple. And I know some of you have been, and that's just one of the questions I got. Hey, the strategy says 20 period moving average and 40. We get that, but the default setting right now is 2080, and there's reason for that. We actually went back, tested it, and we're just like, well, 80 is actually doing really well, so we ended up just sticking with 80. But that doesn't mean 20 and 40 does not work. And that's why we kept talking about the power of tweaking. This is just the default setting we saw, and it actually worked well. Right now, it's actually not even 50-50. See, that's what I mean. We keep tweaking this. Right now, I believe it's 30 and 30. So that's just the power of tweaking. We keep adding different elements to this as well. And what we're going to do is you keep coming back to this booklet, and at the very end of it, we're going to show you all of the updates. So the last update was September 2017. As of currently, as I'm doing this video, but there's going to be plenty more updates, and we'll add those down here for you. We'll probably even send you an email and remind you to check that out. So what these are is, like I said, moving average. That's 20, simple, and you can apply it as when it closes or when it opens. Or we recommend you don't really mess with some of these things. Some of it is just our developer just said, yeah, I'll leave them on there in case if anybody's interested in seeing that. You definitely want to. Well, it depends. If you want to see a clean chart, and we actually might make this as a default to look like this. If you turn, well, let's just talk. Let's keep pushing through here, and I'll show you some of the tweaks that happens whenever we turn some of these on and off. So this section's moving average. This is the parabolic SAR. We would leave that maximum step is 0.2. And you can either keep it as drawn or not drawn. The two signal types is the moving average crosses with SAR confirm, and the second one is SAR reverses with moving averages confirm. And we actually call those now the supercross and the reverse power move. We just kind of wanted to name them something cooler than just signal 1 and 2. So that's the reason why we called it something different. So whenever you dive into your settings, you're going to say, well, that's not what mine are called. Well, it's because we changed it, which isn't really a big deal. It's just a different name for it. So right here is the main squeeze. This is what you mainly want to be looking at. Do you want to draw a stop loss take off? Well, right now this one says false. It's actually going to be true. And this is a stop loss. So this is 500 ticks. So if you go by pips, it's 50 pips. So that adds that extra 0. So this was actually a default of 50 pips stop, 50 pip take profit. What that means is as soon as a trade's triggered, there's going to be a 50 pip stop, which would look, let me just show you the chart real quick. This will be the 50 pips. I don't know if someone really see an arrow, but right here is 50 pips, and this will be 50 pip take profit. And I don't, this isn't exactly, this is the 30-30, but um, that's what that means. So when a trade's triggered, again, just to clarify this, because we have been getting a lot of questions of why do you have a stop loss take profit? It's as soon as it's triggered, it's going to go up 50 or down 50, and we think when it's triggered, it's going to hit that 50 ticks up or down, depending on if it's a sell or a buy trade, and that'll be signified by an arrow that you'll see. So yeah, we just talked about that here. Supercross entry now, and um, really that's it. I mean, there's a few other things. The alert, you can turn that on and off, and notifications. How you get notifications, you might have to watch a couple YouTube videos about that, depending on because if you have Apple or if you have Android, it'll work a little bit different. The alerts will come in a little bit different. I know I have Apple, so that was a little bit of a pain to get set up, but it actually was quite simple. And if you haven't if you download the MT4 app onto your phone and you still can't figure it out, just message us. Email us at info@tradingstrategyguys.com. I'll personally make sure you get taken care of, or we'll have our support team take care of you. It's quite easy. You do a couple YouTube searches and you'll definitely easily be able to find out exactly how to get those alerts triggering on your phone. Which is actually really important with this indicator. Like we said, it's really nice getting those alerts. Okay, so this is just basically talking about the strategy, and if you have not learned the strategy yet, a lot of times what happens is we'll send access. You'll read that big long page that we write about and we try throwing as much as we can onto that page, but sometimes people just don't read it. They just click on it and then they invest in an indicator and they end up having no idea what's going on. We recommend that you do all the research you can beforehand. We give you the materials, we give you everything you need to get started, and if you're not reading them, you're going to be confused. So make sure, step number one, you're reading this strategy report. This just talks about the parabolic SAR and the dots and the moving averages and how a trade's triggered, just to get a base idea behind, get your head wrapped around this indicator. I mean, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You might get a little bit confused when you're diving into settings. But if you think that you don't need to do that, then I mean that's your call. But we recommend you basically memorize that report. Is basically what we're saying. You memorize that entire report because that's the skeleton of this entire indicator. Okay, so here's the tweaks. There's many different things you can tweak with this indicator. There's a ton of things, and so let's go ahead and talk about the scalper settings. So like I said a few minutes ago, we went in, we tested on a bunch of pairs, currency pairs, and also other markets. I shouldn't just limit it to currency. This does work on stocks, Bitcoin, everything else. So it does work. The strategy works. We've tested it. We looked at it on TradingView, everything else, and it works out great. And we're going to be launching this as of this video. We yet to have the TradingView version, but we do plan on getting that out to everybody, which is awesome. But right now it's MT4. MT5, NinjaTrader 7 and 8. Today I'm just showing you an example on MetaTrader. I could have jumped into the NinjaTrader, but I typically like using MetaTrader just to show you guys around. So anyway, so let's go ahead and put these exact settings on to a lower time frame chart. Let's see. So let me just come over here because I might take up the screen here. Well, actually, here I'll do this. I will move this over here, and so you can see exactly the settings. So the settings. So let me do this real quick. Okay, so the setting is, well, let's move this chart over here. So this says 30. So when we're going to move that to 30, slow moving averages, we're going to set that to 60. We're going to change the simple to exponential. And instead of using both of these strategies, we're only going to use one. And then we're going to have our take profit, or we're going to have our stop loss at 25. So that'll be 250, and our take profit as, so that's crazy. That sounds nuts, but we tested it and it actually worked out well. So here's a trigger here. Here's a trigger. I wouldn't necessarily agree if this will be a great place to trade here. So what you need to do when you see something triggered is you need to do stuff like this. You need to start drawing. A lot of time traders won't. I probably shouldn't put that line there, but a lot of time traders will just see the arrow and want to trade the arrow. So what happened here is it actually broke. It actually triggered here and it broke down. But it did not hit our stop loss, and it came back up. And so right now it's not really known exactly what it's doing. So this might not be a great trade to enter in with the indicator. But if you would have saw something like this, it would have kept going. It would have kept riding this. So if you would have entered here, but then you saw this break. So right now, I would have exited out down. It came down. I would have entered. Probably would exit when it broke even again, just because when you always see a pullback. So probably on the pullback, I was like, okay, well, this isn't exactly the greatest place to enter, which is fine. If it's like we said, it's not 100%. But then we had another entry trigger, but then it bounced off that line there. So. So the takeaway from this is you probably would have not have traded with this. This would have been a big X right here. Don't trade that. But that's the important thing is you do this kind of stuff. You draw these lines. You can even add in some Fibos as well, just to see if you can see anything else. As you saw there, that actually bounced exactly pretty much on the 61.8. And if you would have our Fibonacci golden zone up, it probably would have showed you this. It would have alerted you when it was in this zone, and you would have got this trade right there. So that's the power of, and that's exactly the power of having multiple indicators. I know a lot of people are saying, well, why do you guys offer so many indicators if only one of them work out great? Well, it's not just because not every person's the same. Not every trader is the same, so not every trader is going to have the same strategy or the same. A lot of people like going pullbacks. A lot of people like going trend trading. It just depends on your style. So the takeaway from this is that is not a trade. It's not a trade I would have entered. It's not a trade you should have entered with this indicator. Which is fine, and that's perfectly fine, because that's the whole purpose of this. Is this would have alerted you, and you would have saw, and you would have been like, okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look. So right there, this would have been an entry, and you actually would have been up just a little bit there. Wow, that would have been very, very small, because this is actually a 1-minute chart. So. But the takeaway from this, and the thing about scalping is everything's just so quick that it's very difficult to get these indicators to work perfectly on these lower time frames. And so, but we did the best we could. We as far as what the indicator could, we pushed the indicator as much as we could. But as much as it allowed us to. So. But that's just something that we did. Basically, we just went in here, we did exactly the same as what you would do. You go into the settings and we just tweaked all these. When we tried them on 10, I think it was around 5 to 10 different pairs. And based on our results, and we don't have that documentation, but I know the results were very, very good. And maybe that's something some of you'd want to see. Maybe we'll offer that into the future. That way you kind of give a more inside look as to how we do stuff, because I know a lot of traders like seeing proof, and we know this works, but it's hard sometimes for people to believe that, which is fine. That's why you have to be sometimes. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more of these settings. I don't really want to get into all these settings. We're already at 25 minutes, so we don't want to be here all day. Let's go ahead and try these day trading, intraday trading settings, which is all that was changing was the false and then stop loss. Actually, let's not try that one. It's a little weird. Let's go for the 30 and 35 because actually one of our team members, this is his favorite settings. He likes the stop loss at 30 and 35. So let's see how that one worked. Let's see how that one worked on this. So let's go to our settings and let's change our stop loss value to 30. And then take profit at 35. And I believe that's it. So this is actually, we had these settings and we were using these on a higher time frame, and check that out. There's a good one right there. So these settings were recommended for 30 minutes all the way out to the month. And now month is a little crazy. You better be trading very, very small lot sizes, but these settings was 30 minutes and up, and as you can see here, this would have been a nice, so there's your entry, you got the alert, and enter there, it came up, came down, came up, and then boom, you would have got a quick 30, what do we have it set, 35 or 30. So that's exactly what we did. I mean, I could do this all day for you guys, but this is what we did. We did this for you. So I mean, we recommend you can go ahead and try this if you want, but I would recommend go ahead and look in the settings adjustments, figure out which one works best for you. I'll even show you a little bit example what it looks like, and and trade it. So a lot of you are saying this is a little bit confusing, the lines, and we wanted to limit the confusion, which is why this is going to be a default look. So if you want to see something like this and you have no idea how I have it looking like this, it's very simple. Let's go ahead and reset to the defaults. Actually, we have 2020 right now. Like I said, we keep tweaking this thing. But anyways, what you need to do is just let's make this a little bit closer together. So you see right here it says draw on chart. This is talking about the moving averages, and you don't see them here right now, but that's talking about the moving averages. If you don't want to see those moving averages, turn those off. If you don't want to see that was 20, if you don't want to see the 80, go ahead and turn that off. If you don't want to see the parabolic, if you don't want to see any of the, you don't care about, the strategy works, you don't care about see any of this, you just want to see the entries because you like your charts cleaner, you like seeing price action, go ahead and turn all those off right now. Just boom, just exactly right now is exactly how I did it. Also, if you can turn those alerts on and off, I always have the alert on just because I like seeing all our alerts that we get with our indicators. So yeah, just go ahead and turn all those off right now, and this, like I said, this is what you'll see. You'll see this exactly. So you can see it. Sometimes it doesn't trigger. It doesn't give you hundreds and hundreds of entries per, well, on the higher time frames, obviously it doesn't, but the lower time frames, a lot of you are getting very confused and saying what's going on with this. This is why it's a little tough with this indicator on lower time frames, which is why we recommend you tweak those settings. This isn't a setup for scalping, but you'll see stuff like this all the time. I got my lines in the way here, but you'll see stuff like this happening all the time. It'll go sell, and then it'll go immediate buy, and then it'll go sell. So my answer to the questions that people have when you see stuff like this is don't trade it. Just don't trade it. This what is you look at the price action here. There's nothing going on. There's nothing really happening here. It's consolidating, and the strategy doesn't work like that. What we see here, it looks like what's about to happen is a triangle pattern. It's forming, it's going to break it. But when you see stuff like this, just don't trade it. Just when you keep seeing a buy and a trade, a sell and a buy, when you turn those settings on, you see those moving averages. They're probably very, very close to each other, super close to each other, meaning that nothing's happening in the price action. So just don't trade it. That is that's my advice to you. It's probably the best advice with this indicator is to just don't even bother with it on this lower time frame. I would recommend just jump to another pair or another currency, another big, whatever you're trading, stock. So that is the answer to that question. And speaking of questions, I do have a couple here that I kind of wanted to get into. So I have this on my other screen here. Some of you ask some really good questions and very good questions, and I'm actually glad we do good questions. That means people are using our indicator, and they've been using the indicator, and they've been trying to trade with it successfully. But this person, Dwight, he asked, I just purchased your indicator with the default settings, and they recommended getting opposite direction than currently. The currency indicators, and I've included a screenshot. So he included a screenshot with it, and he was just very confused as to what we saw here. His main question was, why am I seeing so many sell, buy, sell, buy? And I just answered that. It's not a trending market. It's flat. It's very flat. And so what's happening is those moving averages are crossing, those dots are crossing up and down, and you're just getting crazy sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. We recommend you wait for a nice long stretch, and then you see that, and it'll come down, and then that's when you'll see that trigger at some point. And it'll either go up, and based on the strategy, based on what you see, then it'll trigger here, and then it'll go up. And that's kind of what the indicator will do. Or it'll trigger the sell, it'll be below, and then it'll go down there. So that's what's going to happen. But when you see stuff like this, that's not any good. You don't want to trade with that. So that's the answer to that is just don't trade with it. This stuff's happening inside the indicator. Everything's crossing, and it's just not working very well. This person just asked about the different platforms, and yes, it works with MT4, and so we did answer that. So he said, I have tried to tweak the indicator following the advice and you sent, but when I right click, nothing happens. I need to learn how to put the stop loss in the take profit. This is Stanley. So Stanley, if you're watching, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by right clicking. Are you meaning if you're meaning just the right click here, well, this isn't going to really do anything. What you need to do is just either find the indicator and double click it, so that'll come up, or just go under tools, or no, I'm sorry, go under charts, indicator list, and whatever indicator you have on this current chart is going to show up here. So right now I just have the simple SAR. So that's the only thing that's going to show up on this screen. And you just double click that, and those, I believe you asked the stop loss and take profit. Yes, that's right here. And like we said, that's in that settings adjustment book that we gave you guys, and that's in this video what I'm talking about. You just change these. These are ticks. These are not pips. Don't confuse that. This is 200 ticks. This is 200 ticks. Change that to, if you want to go to 35, you want to go to 35. Take profit target, go 350. If you want to, that's a stop loss. If you want to take profit target of 60, then go ahead and do 600, and that's what that'll look like. So then your corresponding indicator look like that. And this is obviously a minute chart. So this is what you're going to see, and you're going to get confused. You're going to confuse yourself. So when you're on these lower time frames, make sure that the indicator is tweaked to that time frame. Okay, let's see. What other question we have here? This Robert, he actually said they actually done some research with simple SAR, and he's excited that of the results that he got, which is actually very nice. I did read this, and it seems to be like he really dove into this. And Robert, for listening, we do appreciate it, testing it, and that's what we recommend. What you did, we recommend everybody else does. What he did basically was just he went ahead and he tweaked it and he kept testing it. Basically what he got was he did 33 trades and 16 wins, 17 losses. So 48% win rate. However, that you can still make a lot of money with a 48% win rate, just because of that risk reward ratio, and his risk reward ratio was great, and it was a 16% ROI that he would have got in a full year, which is I'll take that in a heartbeat for the year. I mean, that's not the best you can do, but that's still very good. And he did ask if you can filter out some of those losing trades, and my answer to that is you just go ahead and you just keep tweaking, Robert. You keep messing with these. If you keep messing with these super cross reverse, and also if any of you guys have any other ideas, as far as this doesn't have a dashboard, but we are absolutely 100% on board with making some sort of dashboard, and that's why we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your feedback. Have some sort of maybe have some sort of thing up here, a little box. This is going to take a little bit, but having some sort of box up here that has some sort of signals, we're not opposed to that. But if you guys, we listen to all our traders. Every person who messages us, we look at your question, we look at your response, and we make sure we help you out. But some of you have better ideas as far as how we can have more information for this strategy, but by all means. And that actually brings up this last element that I did want to, I hadn't even dove into, and that's this triangle pattern builder. And basically all that does is, what happens is there's some, well, let's go ahead and show those moving averages. I've been showing this a lot without it, and some of you are like, well, why can't we see the moving averages? So let's turn those back on. So what this does, let's zoom up a little bit here, is it's going to predict where this cross is going to happen. You guys see that? I mean, it's going to move a little bit, and you're going to say, well, it's repainting. Well, it's just these are moving according to this price. If you know how moving averages work, they constantly move. But it's going to predict. So this is a 5-minute chart. So probably a couple hours from now, this will probably be very close of where these moving averages will cross. And if you remember about the strategy, you wait for that cross and you wait for those dots. So this is most likely where the next signal will happen, right here. And that's like I said, that's probably a few hours from now. But that's pretty cool. That's a nice little feature that we added in with this indicator. So that helps us a little bit of just identifying future trades, future trend reversals and stuff like that. Let's dive into another question here. Let's see, he was having issues with an alert. What he's saying is, so the question was, I see a lot of alerts, but then as soon as I get the alert, the price goes in the opposite direction. And what's probably happening is you might have your alert set on these lower time frames. And what's happening is stuff like this. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Here's we're in the money here, but that's probably 9 times out of 10 that's what's happening. You might have it on the lower time frame settings, and what's happening is you're getting a ton of triggered trades. So the way you fix that is when you see price action consolidating like this, what do? We don't trade it like that. You don't trade it. But this is a minute chart, so a lot of traders can nail these, but we don't. These settings aren't even set up, so we probably got a few good triggers here, a few good trades. But I could do that, but let's keep moving on to the next question. Um, so he just asked, let's see, the best time frames to trade, and personally, I like trading with an hour chart and the 4 hour chart because there's not as many triggers and there's not as many false breakouts and stuff like that as you see on the lower time frames. But we wanted to make this so everybody could use it, so that's why we recommend when you're on these lower time frames, the minute 5, the minute 15, you're tweaking that indicator. Let's see, what's your name? Alex, the answer to that is hour chart or the 4 hour chart. It's not the only time frames that is the best for this, but I personally and our team feels like the hour and the 4 hour is the best. So that's the answer to that. And he asked if it'll work on the pound dollar or the euro dollar. Yes, that's obviously if it's on MT4, obviously it's going to work. If it's on MT5, it's going to work. Ninja Trader, Ninja Trader 7, and Trader 8, they're all going to work. And here's just another person just saying that he's been testing and tweaking. That just makes me really happy seeing you guys doing your homework, diving into these settings. And I mean, we've been getting some incredible feedback, mostly great. There's a few people who are saying, why am I getting so many? They were seeing this. They got very angry. Not very angry, but they saw stuff like that and they said this doesn't work. So that's fine. But we gave you that guide to show you exactly how to tweak it. And he just asked, why is the default 20 and 80? And the answer to that is just that's what we tested with the indicator and actually worked out well. But you can, by all means, you can put that bad boy back to 40 if you want. And this actually does bring up a point of what if you want to save this as a template? Some traders, if you're a little bit new to MT4 or a little bit MT5, you really don't know exactly even know what a template is. So what you need to do is you need to right click on your chart and go all the way down the template. And you can see I have a ton of different templates over time with all our indicators, this is what happens. Whenever you get all these indicators, when you're testing, you get a lot of templates. But they're super valuable and they're super nice to have. So what you want to do is you want to set, say you find settings that you absolutely love. So right now, let's just say we love the 20, the 40. We like this tweak and we like our stop loss at 10, which is 100. Perfect. So you like this whole look so what you need to do is you need to right click that, go all the way to templates, and you need to save this template as, we'll go super scalper simple SAR. So all you need to do is just save that. So the very next time you open up a chart, let's open up a different chart right here. You just click on that and there's your settings. So there's your settings right there. You see how we change those. So that's going to be your super scalper simple SAR template. And you can save a ton of those, and you can even, I mean, you could go real crazy with it as far as getting it so it only shows on certain time frames if you want. You can change your colors. You know, some people like I saw someone had where there were this was like black, I believe. I actually like turquoise. So let's go turquoise and green. Let's go turquoise and green. So that looks a little cool. So, but we figured the settings that they were at now, whenever we first tested it and we developed it, we actually had it very dark, which I believe was looked something like this and maybe like this. And so, yeah, and so it was very difficult to look at. So that's why we give the default as a little bit easier. But by all means, if you like this background, then go ahead and tweak that. Um, we definitely don't mind if you do that. It's all yours and it's all yours to customize. Um, so yeah, but yeah, other than that, guys, I believe that's it. I think I covered everything. If you still have no idea about, you know, you don't think this indicator is going to work for you, send us a message. I'll even get back with you personally. I'll try to jump maybe on a call with you or something like that, and I did maybe like a screen share. That way I can just show you a little bit more. I try to cover everything here. It's almost been an hour, and I do apologize since it's been very long. But yeah, we value you guys as members, and we really want to help you guys out. And so we think these indicators are really helping based on the responses we've been getting through the past. I guess it's been a year now. We continue to do this for years to come. And it's been a blast, and we appreciate every single comment, no matter if it's good or bad. If it's bad, we'll look at it, we'll analyze it, and we'll say what did we do wrong, and we'll try to fix it. We immediately try to fix it. Anytime somebody is not very happy with us, we want to make it right. We want to fix it, and so that's why we offer different things like this as far as tweaking your indicators and tweaking strategies and giving you different videos and webinars and stuff like that. It's because we want to help. We want to help. We could have just threw this onto a page and said, here you go, here's the indicator, you know, we want your money, and that's it. And that's not what we're about. The money covers of with these indicators, it covers everything. It covers testing, the development, and we're not just developing these in one day. It takes hours, and it takes our developers hours and hours and hours to come up with these and to tweak them and figure different stuff out. And so it goes to a good cause, and it's going to help. And as always, we have all these strategies on our blog, but if you guys ever have any new ideas, we're always welcome to try it. Some of these indicators came from some of our members. Some of them said, hey, you should develop an indicator based on this strategy. I really like this strategy. I think it's very profitable, and I think an indicator would do really well. And so that's what usually happens. There is I could give you a sneak peek, maybe so, but robots are an interest of us. Let's just say that for the strategy, we're not quite sure. Basically, meaning an EA, but we're not quite sure about that yet. We'll see. We're going to think about that. We're going to test it a ton. As far as if we do have a robot, you think we'll test these a lot? We're going to be testing that probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 times more, just because that is making the trades for you and everything. And we think that if we develop something like that, it needs to be flawless and very good and working according to how we say it's going to work. So, but other than that, that's about it for this training. If you think I didn't hit something that you had a question about the indicator with, strategy with, if you still feel like there needs to be something better with this indicator, please don't just say, just don't give up on it and say, I just want my money back. I mean, that's 100% fine. If you feel like this isn't right for you, go ahead and send us that message. We always honor it 100% of the time, but We know we're going to be updating this, so if you think we missed something, go ahead and let us know. Go ahead and email us at info@tradingstrategyguys.com, and we'll be in talks with our developer. We're talking with them every single day, as far as getting new indicators and just different things like that, just because we think it's been so helpful. But yeah, just let us know about that, and we'll see if we can help you out. We'll see if we can make that request a reality. So again, thank you for staying with me, if you still are, and I hope this has been a very big help for you. I think I covered everything I wanted to, and just let us know if there's anything else that we can help you with the simple SAR. We do appreciate it. So thanks, guys. Have a great day.